Welcome to Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I hope you're having a good morning. I'm going to give a quick shout out to some of our sponsors. We've got Doc Ferguson. He's got some really good products. We got Double Down Dabs. I really like Double Down Dabs. And we got our good friend Connie Johnson sitting here. And we also can't forget Okie Applesauce and 788 Collection. They've got a good variety of stuff. We've got a large variety of subjects we're going to cover here, Connie. We've been talking before we start. Now, we got the bull out here too. Your birthday's coming up.
This is May.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
It's May Day. It's spring. It's the time of the May colts, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Colts
It's
are
beautiful
born in
weather.
May. Yeah. And my birthday is in 10 more days.
Cool,
So it's a
cool.
countdown to the
Countdown.
big. We're in the same class.
Right on. I dig it.
Yes. When's your birthday?
I'm September.
September. So you will be,
I'm a Virgo.
and you will be.
Oh, I'll be 70 years old then.
So I'll be 70 on May 11th.
Oh, really?
We're in the same class.
I know.
guys.
I know.
Come on now. So yeah, it's the secret's out. I'm 70, and I sure prefer that over the alternative,
Oh, yes, ma'am. I agree with that 100%.
especially right now.
Yeah.
So
Now, where is that birthday party? Where's it going to be at?
Yes, we were saying earlier about my birthday party. It will be at the farmers market.
Cool. We're having a lot of events down there. They're a great place. I
And
like it.
It's a party oriented okay, of course, because I'm the mother of the medical cannabis movement.
Yes, ma'am. I agree with that 100%.
And so we're going to celebrate my birthday.
Cool. Cool.
But we're going to celebrate patience.
It's always about
It's
patience.
always
Yes,
about
ma'am.
patience. You know, the efforts we had with OMG 2020 when we signed up 300 patients
Yeah, that was
to
cool, wasn't it?
apply to vote by mail,
Yeah.
right? You know, I can't never not talk about voting.
I agree with that
Right.
100%, ma'am.
So we'll have opportunities there for vendors. We're looking for vendors who support patients to come out and share information, share presence, share space
Hmm.
in this one day, this one opportunity to celebrate someone like me.
Right on. Because you introduced legalization of cannabis in what, 2004?
2007.
2007, okay.
I came to the Senate in 2006 on a unexpired one-year term,
Hmm.
and then in 2007, when I won a full 4-year term,
Right.
it was the first thing I did.
You bet, you bet.
Well, and it was behind the issue that I campaigned on,
Hmm.
and that was grandparents raising grandchildren because of the incarceration of the parent, mostly for simple possession of marijuana, a
Yes, ma'am.
victimless crime.
That's one thing that just goes, because whenever you get popped, because I had a Chris on my show the other day, and he got popped with 2 ounces. Now, we know if you get busted with 2 ounces or something like that, they just start adding on charges, distribution and sales and stuff like that. And it just ruins a young person's life to have all those charges and to put it on a job application.
So let's start at the beginning of that. Why Oklahoma put laws into place to be sure to be able to do that.
Right.
We have a 98% private prison bed occupancy guarantee.
Guaranteed. Yeah,
We have to
I
fill
hate
those
that.
beds,
Mhm.
or we pay for them. So the legislature set about filling those beds
Mhm.
with egregious sentencing schemes,
Right.
like 3 strikes you're out, like life without parole
Hmm.
for drugs. Larry Yarbrough was serving life without parole. We got him out of prison,
Right on.
right? Like consecutive concurrent sentencing,
Hmm.
85% laws.
Right.
It's a series of egregious sentencing schemes that the legislature that you vote for or you don't vote for
Hmm.
puts in place to keep people, to hurt people. And it hurts mostly disproportionately people who look like me,
And people
People of
look like
color.
us, yeah, that
but
are
people
in
of color,
right on. Yes, ma'am.
and
I
poor
dig it.
people. Poor
Mhm.
people.
Poor, that's what I was going to bring.
Poor
People of a lower class, poor
Right.
people, just like
But
us.
specifically, my issue in campaigning had to do with this community that we're in. We are on the east side in Oklahoma City.
We are, yeah.
In a space I would never imagine that I would ever be in. But you know what? That's how we get here. You have this side and you have that side, and somewhere there's a middle.
Bring
right?
us all together. Yes,
But on
ma'am.
the east side, at Millwood High School, Millwood District, very affluent district on the east side, in 2000, 60% of those children were being raised by their grandparents because their parents were in prison. Now, fast forward to 2017, at my alma mater, Douglas High School, and this is the prettiest part of the state, y'all. I'm sorry. I grew up the street from the Capitol,
Right.
right? Always looking. The dome wasn't there, but I always had my eyes on that building, right? So we had a party at the mansion, right? When we went. But 87% of the children at Douglas High School have one or more parent who's been in prison. See, so I don't think that's that way at Putnam City High School.
Right.
District,
Or
right?
Edmond or
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Disproportionately, black, brown, and red people were being impacted. Now, everybody's being impacted. And we cannot sustain this level of engagement with a criminal justice system that's broken.
That's one thing I do love about your campaign is criminal justice reform, because
That's how
you
it all
are one
started.
for the people.
That's how it all started. I learned about the medical in 2012.
Right.
When folks like Jackie, I can't think of her name right now, but all these children with Dravet syndrome
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and people with Crohn's disease, after the legislature voted down my bill, only one time they ever took it up was in 2012, I believe. I introduced it in 2007, 2009, 2011, and 2013. Because, you know, we have 2-year
Right.
legislative sessions. And I'm loving the signs on the wall about how a bill becomes a law. That's crucial information,
Yes, ma'am.
especially for this community. So after they heard my bill and voted it down, given my background as a Senate staffer who knew the process like the back of my hand, I could do it in my sleep, right?
Yeah.
I told the people we had that ABCs by the ABCs of
Yep.
CBD.
I've seen it. Yep.
Remember
Growing
that?
up, you bet.
And we had a rally at the Capitol. You remember, we were activists. We
Yes,
were
ma'am.
activated. And all the people came to the Capitol and all the legislators left, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I said to them, look, guys, the legislature is not going to do this.
Right.
And the legislature was Democratic when I first introduced it. So it wasn't about a party. It was about educating people. So I said, educate the people that when they won't do the right thing, the people do the right thing.
Yes, ma'am.
The people voted. There were several petitions that were put out there. He got good. He got excited about that, didn't he?
Gunny
He
had to
like,
come
give me
outside.
5, give me a lick on that, right?
Yeah. There
But
you
the
go.
people got excited. There, you remember Green the Vote?
Yes, ma'am.
The Coalition to End Prohibition. There were 3 or 4 groups, remember? I circulated a full legalization petition in 2014
Right.
while I was running for the U.S. Senate and got the nomination, made history, first woman, first black person. There have been 2 women trying, and Madison Horn is one of those trying now to be the U.S. Senator, right? 29% of the people showed up to vote. Not good.
No, that's not good.
I got 29% of the vote.
Ah, there you go.
Hold on to that 29. But I came out of that with this renewed sense of, I know what it takes to get this done.
Right.
It takes more than just getting people registered to vote.
You got to get them out to vote. That's why that
Well,
mail-in is so important.
You got to get them aware that it's time to vote.
Yes, ma'am.
And yes, get them out to vote, but get them to guarantee that they know when it's time to vote with the mail-in by just applying for a mail-in ballot. Right?
That's what I like about the mail-in is because you get the ballot about a month and a half before it's time to vote.
Yes.
So you can read the bill. You don't have to use it. If you want to use the mail-in, you can, but you don't have to. That way you can read the bill, you can understand it, you look at everything you need to vote. Then you can go down to the precinct and vote.
If you
Now,
want to.
we haven't mentioned you are running for governor now.
That's right.
Okay, cool, right
That's
on.
right. That's kind of like, I thought everybody knew that. But
Well, I know,
you know
I think
what? They
everybody
don't.
knows that, but
they
yeah.
really don't.
No, they don't.
We were in McIntosh County last night.
Mhm.
We had a wonderful time.
Cool.
Wonderful time. But those were Democrats,
Mhm.
McIntosh County Democrats. And I would say over half the room didn't know.
Didn't
that I
know
was
you were
running.
running for governor.
Mhm. But I tell you, by the time we left, we had 100% of the room
There
support.
you go. Right. That's
I'm
one
the
thing.
only Democrat
I'm a Democrat.
in the Democratic primary. There are 2 people in it.
Right. You and
That other lady.
another
Those
lady.
ain't no
Yeah, yeah,
Fred.
But she just changed from being a Republican to be a
5 months
Democrat.
ago.
Okay, in my opinion, the only reason she changed was just to take votes away from you.
And why couldn't she run based on her values?
That would be the way. That's the way you're running. You're running based on your
Yeah.
values. That's what I like
Yeah.
because you're a good personal friend of mine, and I
Yeah.
know how you feel about things.
Yeah. And I've been this way for 56 years.
Yes, ma'am.
I started a teen Democrat club over here when I was 13.
See, we've got friends that go back 40 years and
Oh,
stuff
man.
together.
And those friends have known me since I was 6 years old.
Yeah, I think I met. Okay, that's a good friend, Linda and Mega. I think I met
Linda.
them in my teen years. I don't know, high
Okay.
school, or,
Well, he grew up around the corner from me at
Right.
Creston Hills.
and Linda grew up around the corner from me.
Isn't that the craziest
It was
thing?
too. Yeah, she lived about a block and a half from me. I
Really?
think. Yeah.
One of a kind.
This is
Uh,
fun. I love just you talking about this. Is great.
The bus background.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm so you know my was band
Mm-hmm.
was a bus driver.
Right. Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
he went to the National Bus Finals Rodeo, where the bus drivers, kind of like at a
Right, yeah.
rodeo, they do it with the buses. Well, we were in Tulsa the other day where we did our launch.
Mhm.
It's official. We're launched. Met the record holder bus rodeo driver.
Oh, really?
He's like the 5-time champion for the last 5
That
years.
dude can drive, can't he?
A bus too.
Yeah. I bet he could drift it.
What's that mean?
Sliding around a corner.
Ooh. Every time I go down 36th Street, right there between Lincoln and Kelly, and that downhill drive, my husband used to tell me about the day it was ice on the road. And
Mhm.
he was in his bus and he went down that 2 lanes sideways
Oh, I understand.
on the ice patch.
That's one thing we're bringing up, the OTA, Oklahoma Turnpike Authority.
Yes,
Now we all know they've upset me quite a bit because I've been going to the meetings
Are
and
you
stuff.
in the pathway?
I'm real close to it.
It
Real close
would
to it.
change your whole life.
It will change our whole entire life because
Yeah.
we live out in the country. It's very quiet.
Right.
And like I said, I went to a meeting 20 years ago when they were discussing this. And it was really funny because they had this one route that they picked out, but several people along this route didn't like that route. And then they showed a diversion where there's a lot of high dollar homes right there where they diverted
That
the
was going
route
to be
around.
my question.
Mm-hmm.
Because let me tell you this. These systems should be devoid of influence.
Yes, ma'am, I agree.
The only influence should be what's best for the masses, for them. So let me give you an example of this behavior that you're seeing, that now you see how we felt.
Right. Yes, ma'am, I
In
understand.
1952,
Mm-hmm.
the only black addition on the east side, built by William Edwards, they ran Interstate 35 through the middle.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The option would have been to run it down Bryant,
Mm-hmm.
because that was an existing thoroughfare.
Existing, yeah.
But I'm thinking the people in the town where I live, Forest Park, had more clout,
Right.
and they didn't want that interstate there. It makes no sense how they ran that down the middle of the community.
I
They
agree.
did it again with 235,
Right.
and they took out that, they ran this interstate right down the middle of kind of sort of Deep Deuce,
Right. Oh yeah. See, I've worked the Deep Deuce a lot.
right?
And the area you're talking about, we go up there a lot for cancer treatments, and I do drive around it up there by Millwood
Right.
High School and stuff because I've been up there with you, and I
Uh-huh.
drive around that area and I've seen how they've just basically destroyed it because
Destroyed it.
Mhm.
They did the same things in Tulsa,
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of major metropolitan areas when it comes to, it was communities of color, right?
I
But
understand.
now it's everybody.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
behavior, the practice it just grows like a cancer.
Right.
Until we nip it in the bud
I love
by
it.
saying no more,
Mm-hmm.
no more. Let's elect leaders of integrity, of experience, of vision, of effectiveness. Okay, let's come up with some all the good
Right
words
on.
for me. Who is awesome, who's beautiful, who's caring, who's dear, who's effervescent,
And a great friend of mine, I'll guarantee
friendly,
you that.
and good, and honorable, and intelligent, and just, and kind,
Right
and
on.
loving, and marvelous,
My kind of
and
person.
neat, and opulent,
There you go. Yes,
precious.
ma'am. And you know how to
What's a
do
good one for
the
Q?
Huh?
What's a good one for Q?
uh,
Queenly, Queenly.
There you go.
Who is racy,
Mhm.
right? Who can be sexy,
Yes, ma'am.
who can be tantalizing, understanding, vivacious, well-wishing. What's X?
Next,
Extra.
extra.
And forever young.
There you go.
There
Right
you
on.
have the ABCs of Connie Johnson.
I dig that. That is so cool. I'll tell you what, on that right there, we're going to just take a short break. I'm sitting here with my good friend Connie Johnson. I got to toke up and tune back in. I sure hope you do. Pinga.
Quality be high, but the price is low. Only way I come down on the price is if you buying bulk. Tree funds, got a green thumb, I feel like I'm the hoe. Never knew.
Fashion, high fashion, fashion, high fashion, yeah, fashionista, fashion killer, fashionista, fashionista, fashion over, wardrobe, designer clothes, fashion show, fashion hoe, touch your toes, she look like baby O's, ayy, really big, Scotty beat me up, drip from neck season, I look clean as fuck, if I really.
Niggas mad that I write my shit off top. Niggas ain't getting high like this. Yeah, big gas on a night like this.
Welcome back to Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I hope you toked up and tuned back in because you know I love them breaks. Sitting here talking to my good friend Connie Johnson, running for governor, right on, and Summer Parker.
Yes,
We
sir.
got some cool stuff coming up for you too.
We do.
And the coolest thing is, I'm getting ready to pin Summer
Oh, cool.
Oh,
as
yeah.
an official endorser of Connie Johnson
See, I've got one.
for governor. Yay!
Yay!
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Now, we were talking during the break. This is something that come up between me and Summer. Whenever I first started out in this movement, I thought it was a me movement. I just wanted to use cannabis with my opiates that I was using. But the more signatures and stuff that I got, it changed for me from a me movement to a we movement. I started finding out that a lot of people were needing this and wanting this. Now, again, I'm an opiate addict. I was on opiates for 12 years, and I got off opiates with cannabis right here, I'll guarantee you. And Summer, you had the same thing. We
Yeah.
were talking about that earlier. You were on opiates, and you got out with opiates and right on with cannabis. Now, you do
Yeah.
dabs and stuff.
I do. From 2009 to roughly about 2018, I was a horrible opiate addict.
What does that
And
mean? What specific pharmaceuticals were you taking? Like Oxycontin? What were you taking?
Hydrocodone,
Hydrocodone,
Oxycontin, and
Oxycontin.
morphine. They were actually giving me
Morphine?
more medication than they would give a terminal cancer patient at one point.
And what was the condition?
I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective
Yes,
tissue disease.
exactly.
But the doctor that I was seeing was overly generous. You could walk in and be like, "Oh, my elbow hurts today," and there you go.
And so let's think about that, because it was like that for a reason. This is what I always like to help shed light on about the process, right? There was policy passed in the late 90s, the early 90s, late 90s, by the legislature regarding pain management. Pain management became an issue, like women's reproductive rights or immigration. Pain management became a thing. And I was the drafter for the senator who was the author of the legislation, and it made sense because people were in pain.
Oh, yes,
Right.
ma'am.
But it's become a racket.
Mhm.
It's the same way, and I don't want to get off the subject, so y'all be sure to bring me back, right? But it's the same way I wrote the legislation for hospice in Oklahoma. That's what I'm saying. I have all this background. I wrote that legislation, but it was from the point of view of the owners to ensure that they could get reimbursed under Medicare.
Right.
It was always about the money.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mom's experience, and this is my testimony,
Mm-hmm.
she was in hospice, and I could have gotten any drug I wanted for her.
Mhm.
As much as I wanted, as often as I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
They sent it over in the middle of the night if I wanted, and
No
Medicare
questions
paid
asked.
for it.
Yep.
And my mom said she didn't want to be loopy,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want her to be constipated.
Right.
Right, yep. That's
And
what
so,
comes with
because my
hydrocodone.
mom couldn't sit, stand, or walk ever again, she fell and broke the prosthesis in her hip.
Mhm.
We have hip issues.
Mhm.
I have artificial hips, so it really actually medicates for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we couldn't have gotten, so I gave her tincture
Mm-hmm.
and edibles.
Mm-hmm.
We could not have gotten that paid for,
Mhm.
and we should be able to.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Instead of these drugs by pharmaceutical
Mhm.
industries. Because, okay, for my hips, for example,
Mm-hmm.
they've offered me gabapentin.
Mm-hmm.
I could go the whole list. I was on Oxycontin for a minute.
Mhm.
My girlfriend was on Oxycontin, but she was drinking alcohol too.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yep.
a dangerous mix.
And she fell off the bar stool at my house.
Mm.
And she's still suffering today because I think she cracked her tailbone.
Dang.
But it was under the influence that this happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy part is, and I'm not naming her name so nobody can say anything,
Right.
but her false teeth fell out, and they ended up over inside of this little fireplace thing, chimney.
Oh no!
We didn't find them till 2 days later.
Thank God nobody left the chimney up.
She's gonna know exactly what you wanted.
Oh,
Not
my
saying
God.
any names, but
But
Yeah.
so I'm saying all that to say the drugs just are killing and hurting and maiming people in this
Mhm.
case, right? So I'm so happy. There are so many stories.
Mm-hmm.
I have a girlfriend who has your same condition,
Mhm.
and this is curing it. This is addressing it.
Mm-hmm.
It cures cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And so the patient perspective, and that's why I want people to know, there's always a policy behind everything. That's where I was headed, right?
Mhm.
This pain management laws that were put in place were all political, and it was paid for. It was funded by these providers,
By the
right?
pharmaceuticals, you bet.
And we didn't know. I was naive about the process. I just wrote the law.
Right.
But now I know what the impact of that law was.
Right.
And so when I come along in 2007 and introduce it again, not behind the medicinal,
Mm-hmm.
just as a scheme
Mm-hmm.
to keep my people from going to jail
Right.
Right.
and their grandparents raising the grandchildren,
Mhm.
right? But when I finally came to learn and understand the benefit, the impact of this thing that God created before he made the moon and the sun, night and the day, right? This thing he put here for us, and it's been criminalized by the same people who would advance opioids. They criminalized cannabis, which is 100% natural. Nobody ODs. I love going to events.
Yeah.
Love that.
And we can have cannabis right here in front of us.
And it's the
That smells good, doesn't
it
it?
is the most peaceful gathering of people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You can have people on different sides of the political spectrum. You can just have all kinds of races in the room, and everybody gets along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Oh yeah. See, this is
That smells good, doesn't it?
yes. Now see, and there's a policy that would take this ability away from us
Right? I
to
know.
be able to smell,
That's
get that terpene that because it does
yeah.
different things
I
for
love
different
smelling
people.
the terps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
one
what is
thing
this?
we've covered earlier is I don't understand a lot of the legislative parliamentary procedures and stuff like that. That's why I'm trying to get Senator Connie Johnson as our governor, because you do understand
Yes,
how to
sir.
write these laws,
Yes,
how to
sir.
read these laws. Now, we did have I think the sitting governor right now, he did a commercial where he said he did not understand State Question 788. Now, State Question 788 was written by a layman. I pretty much understood it, and everybody that I had signed my petition, I think they pretty much understood it. If our governor right now couldn't understand State Question 788, how is he understanding all these other bills that are coming
Right.
before him, like the OTA, of cutting through all these lands and stuff like that? Senator Connie Johnson, you know this stuff. You understand it.
Well, let's say what he does understand. Let's talk about what he does understand. Like the Swadley thing. Right?
Oh, Swadley's barbecue, yeah.
So he understands. He's a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
He was an experiment. John Kevin. I shared with him that he and my brother have the same name. John Kevin Johnson.
Uh-huh.
John Kevin Hill. And that was funny.
I love you, Mel.
You can't have fun. We can't
Yeah.
have fun.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And I just like to have fun. You know, I come from a family of sharp-tongued women.
Mm-hmm. You know, strong women excite me. I love strong
Oh,
women.
Lord.
Calm down. Calm
And
Y'all done got me off topic. I can't remember.
Oh, we're off subject, yes, ma'am. That's me. You know, I'm ADD. I'm thinking
Mr.
over here.
Mr. Man and his understanding
Mhm.
and what he does understand. Because the level of corruption right now,
Yes, ma'am. I
in
agree
this
with that
state.
100%.
and you know, there's certain key words. Like I'm looking at these signs around the room,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it's all a matter of the messaging, right? So now we're talking about land owned by Chinese nationals.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen without somebody knowing something.
Something.
Something, as my
Mhm.
mama says, something. Something.
Yes, ma'am. Something. I'm a Southern boy. I say it too.
And what I learned, and this is why I can peep this. Mo don't like me saying peep it, but this is how I can peep it. My friend told me, and I'm not saying any names, but she was able to get a license, a card,
Cool.
she ain't done yet.
without going through the process.
That's
Really?
cool.
It was counterfeit from inside
Oh,
the
you're
agency.
kidding. Oh, mercy. How can they counterfeit a card?
You know, people can do anything.
Well, I know
Yeah,
they
they
can do
can. It's
anything.
Just
Yeah,
like these
Photoshop and all.
Republicans
Yeah.
and the governor, they
But-
can do anything they want because they have a super majority.
Oh,
right?
yeah, I understand.
All I'm saying is it points to the reality that there is something wrong in the mix. And there is one agency, there was one attorney, one law firm in particular that was suspicious with regard to this illegal activity that is, and is it not in place to hurt the industry?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that really not the other side of the looking glass on this? Right? So he knows
Oh, yeah.
something
Something.
about this industry because it is a money maker.
Right.
All our interest has ever been is patience. But there are people who will straight up tell you, I'm in this for the money. And it's those people we have to guard against in order to keep patients safe.
Right.
We have to have a leader, though. Is either one of them able to sit here and talk to you intricately
Neither
about
one of
this
none of them's
industry?
offered to come up
I
here and
just
talk to
wanna
me.
ask.
No.
I just want to ask.
Okay,
Is
now
it
I'll
my
take it.
imagination? Look, I'm a bull. I'm 0 to 100.
I love that. Yeah.
Is it my imagination or am I the only one?
You're
Look
right.
at-
You're
am I-
doing it
well,
right
look at
on.
me.
Yeah.
Where am I?
It's an
You're
old
right.
school show.
I'll tell you,
Cannabis community.
cannabis
Where am I?
community, you bet. I love it. Now, we've got a couple of events coming up. You're going to be at your birthday party,
My birthday's May 11th, but the
11th.
party is May the 12th.
May 12th.
So I'm gonna
And-
party for a week.
There you go. You're also going to be at Summer's
It's
event.
possible that she may drop in.
Possible. Okay.
You know what?
So-
And this is crazy because I was looking at the calendar this morning. Like Summer could not. I think she finally understood when I said to her, I don't know.
I
She
went
says,
to
"What?"
Tina.
I'm like, I really don't. I don't know where I was yesterday.
Oh,
I
I
don't know. I know I'm
Campaign's
supposed to be
difficult.
somewhere.
some
I just know I'm having a good time, right?
right on.
But I was looking at the calendar last night, so now that you say that, and I see May the 7th, because I didn't even know next weekend was May the 7th.
Yeah.
I haven't
It is,
gotten
it
there
is.
yet, right?
It is.
So we have the Asian Community Festival from 11 till 3.
Mhm.
And then there is a fundraiser for the campaign,
For your campaign.
yes,
Okay.
from 6 to 8. Am I right, Tina? Because Tina just looked at the calendar. It's coming back. I may not remember, but I don't forget.
There
right?
you go. Yeah.
And so in between, Skiatook is how many miles away? See how we're working this out?
Mhm.
How many miles
Right.
away is
I
it?
love
So
it.
it's about 25 minutes north of Tulsa.
That's what I knew.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like 2 hours
Hmm.
to drive up there, do something,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 hours to drive back.
Both events are in the city that day.
Now we have done a bunch of events together. I mean, we've been all over the state.
Well, I got a driver.
You've got a driver right on.
Now, I want to give
That
a
does
shout
make it
out
better, right?
to Brother Bernard Allenbay. He is
Bernard
a
rocks,
beautiful
yeah.
driver. He drove us to, he drove me to Chakotah yesterday.
Oh, really?
And he be getting it because he don't mind driving. But I had a nice little nap.
Oh, I love those driving naps.
I was
Yeah.
thinking admin time. I wasn't thinking
Now,
nap
Summer, you
time.
have a-
Oh no, I had a
Yes.
nap because we come from Tulsa the night before. And I went to bed at 3.
Mhm.
Just like you say, in this campaign season, you get up
Yeah.
before the crack of dawn
Mhm.
and you go to bed
After.
before the crack of dawn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just barely before the crack of dawn.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. This
Very
is my 3rd time around on the statewide race.
Cool.
And I've learned something each time. I've been exposed to the dark side of this industry,
Right.
the campaign industry itself,
Mm-hmm.
from the printers to the consultants to the people who were bought off. Just,
Pretty much.
yeah, you've been with me before.
Yes, ma'am.
You've seen the games that
seen
have
ya.
come my way,
Yeah.
and I still rise.
All right, on that right there, we're going to give one more shout out.
Okay,
Summer's
yes.
got it.
So this is the flyer, and they'll
Yeah,
have
hold it up right up to
there.
the camera.
Let's
There
see.
you go. Cool.
All right, so
Oh, good. Right on. Great shot.
Groovy Rasta Fest in Skytook, Oklahoma. This is Skytook's first ever cannabis-inspired festival. We are going to be open that day from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. for vendors and allow vendor setup. And then from 10 to 11, vendors will get to mix and mingle, get to go see each other's booths and things like that. We open the event from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. to the public. It is $5 to park. The tickets are only $1 on Eventbrite. If you purchase your ticket in advance, If you wait till the day of at the gate, it will be $2 per person to enter. So not
That
bad.
is cool. I love keeping the price down.
Yeah, I mean, well, because this event's like, okay, first off, it's a first year event, but second off, it's a cannabis inspired, event that is, it's kind of like a hodgepodge of people. We're going to have farmers market vendors there. We're going to have art and craft vendors there, Swag vendors, cannabis vendors. We will have local businesses in the area coming down to, talk about what their businesses are. We will have food trucks. We have a huge kids zone that's got
Cool.
a 68-foot obstacle course. It's an inflatables. We have a bounce house and
right
a
on.
slide. We have a cornhole setup coming out between 2 and 4. We have Kid Lennon coming as a musician from about 3:25 or so. He'll go on set. He'll end at 4:20 with a light 'em up, toke 'em up special, of course. And then we have Jared Tyler coming on set that evening. We have the possibility, if they can squeeze it in, of Miss Johnson coming by. If not, we will do something with her soon, I promise.
Cool.
So 2-for-1 Pharma, SkyTook Oklahoma, Rasta Dog. We are going to have a great day that day. So when you come in that day, just so you're aware, there is no THC sales on site. We do not have a legal dispensary on site. There will be open consumption. The kids zone will be roped off, and there will be consumption free in that zone. Yes, adults, you can definitely play on the toys too, but please be nice and share with the kids. It's all I ask. Okay? That's all I ask. All right. If you need to leave the property to go to one of the local dispensaries or something like that, when you return, there's still a $5 to park again fee. Okay? Your ticket's good all day. $5 to park each time. Groovy Cat's Dispensary. Kat is my co-host, and she said to shout out and say hi to everyone here.
Cool.
And they are having some events coming up on the 14th, I believe, there as well at Groovy Cats. And if you guys need anything from Tasty Farms, she says hit her up. So
All right, on that right there, we're going to take another short break to toke up and tune back in. I sure hope you do, because you're watching Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I got Summer Parker on here and my good friend Senator Connie Johnson running for governor.
woohoo! Go Connie!
Top shelf, top shelf, top shelf, top shelf.
Welcome back to Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I hope you're toking up and tuning in, because you know I sure do. Bing! Sitting here talking to my good friend Senator Connie Johnson and Summer Parker. Now,
Yes, sir.
Summer, we were talking about, we're both opiate addicts, been through it, understand. Now I had a stroke because of my drugs that I was using. Now we're both legal opiate addicts.
You're correct.
And you had an experience, you've had quite an experience yours too.
Yeah, in 2015, I became extremely ill, lost my employment with my employer, 10-year career, things like that, all due to the use and overuse of opiates, right? And it actually caused my stomach to paralyze, like because of the opioids slowing down your system so much. My stomach is 90% paralyzed. So I have a gastric pacemaker implanted into my abdomen that makes it where I can eat and drink like everyone else. And, this particular physician even got in trouble with the DEA for script writing and things like that. Yeah, had his rights revoked from him, damn near had charges put on him. You know what I mean? And so I'm real fortunate that I'm not a statistic and a number for a fatality on his record. You know what I mean? In my opinion. And then whenever I came out of opioid addiction, I went to rehab, okay? And I've not been very public and open about this, so this is really
It's not easy to do.
It's
is
a
it?
big thing,
Yeah.
It's
It's time.
It is. It is time.
For a purpose.
Yeah. So
Yes.
2018, I went into rehabilitation, and when I came out of rehabilitation, I took that 15-year hiatus that I'd had from cannabis and was high on everything else instead, and went back to cannabis. And I found that flower only at first wasn't quite enough to curb those still needs and cravings and things that the opioids cause your mental mind to go there for. And so I started hitting
You
dabs.
started using concentrates. That's
did.
what we got here on the
So,
table.
I hit dabs. My Instagram is Dabbing Sister because, well, my sister and I, well, we dab, you know. So, but the thing of it is about the cannabis products, there's such a wide range and variety of products. We have everything from RSO, you know, based edibles. We have, you know, distillate edibles. We have full spectrum edibles. We have, you know, all the different types of concentrates. You have the solventless, the solvent, you know, based, things like that. The cannabis, you know, itself in the flower forms, you can do hash, you can do shake, you can do trim, you can do like everything you can possibly think of, even down to THC capsules. So if somebody's diabetic, they don't smoke cannabis, they don't vape, how do we help them in the medical cannabis world?
Yeah.
THC capsules, okay? We have it all. We can treat it. And guys, I mean, I have not touched an opioid in over 3 years.
Right on.
Okay?
There you go.
And so cannabis gets me through every aspect of my day as I need it to. And I love the fact that I can medicate myself. I love the fact that I can see my products whenever I go in and go buy them. That's huge for me
I
too.
hate prepackaged.
I
You
hate
bet.
prepackaged too.
That's
I was at
policy.
the Capitol
That's
for that
policy.
one.
We're working on it.
That's
You know,
policy. We
So
stop it all in its tracks
Yeah.
when we elect the right governor.
You're elect the right governor. Yes, ma'am.
I think I can truly sit here and say that without cannabis in my life, I would not be alive.
What a testimony.
I agree with you 100%. I'm the same way. Without cannabis in my life, I've overdosed. Linda and Omega brought me back to life one time. Yeah, I know. They've converted my house. You never
I
know.
had no idea, y'all. I had no idea of the impact of this policy in 2007. I never would have ever imagined. First time I went in the dispensary and could say, I want some of that. I want
Yeah,
some of that.
isn't that cool?
And it was so surreal.
Mm-hmm.
And then to walk out and not look over my shoulder.
You bet. I love that.
Yeah.
Now, so
Wow.
your dispensary is, well,
2 for 1 pharma.
okay, there you go. Right on.
So are you a grower, a processor?
Okay, so I'm guilty by association is what I am.
Okay.
So my sister and my fiance, they co-own 2 for 1 Pharma and SkyTech, 323 East WC Rogers Boulevard. Sorry.
Is that a dispensary?
It is. It is a
Okay.
dispensary. In fact, you're
No,
more
say,
than
let's say
welcome
it
to be
again.
there
What's the
anytime.
name of it?
2 for 1 Pharma.
2 for 1 Farmer.
Yeah, and our
And Sky took
Mhm.
Oklahoma.
and
2-3.
323 WC Rogers Boulevard, SkyTech,
323.
Oklahoma.
Okay.
Come and see us anytime. We are home of the 2 for 1 Nug. We are also home of Rasta Dog, and soon to launch some Rasta Dog apparel at our event on May 7th. As a matter of fact, I'll have
Cool.
Razorback tanks, I'll have men's shorts, men's muscle tees, all kinds of things.
Right
It's gonna be
on.
fun. Y'all should all
Swag is
come.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to get some campaign swag.
We
to
do.
Yes,
We
indeed.
do. We need to have a
That's
campaign
one thing
table
we
for
need
Miss
covers, Connie Johnson,
and do a
running for governor.
fundraiser. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
And,
I'm down.
and really, people investing
Mm-hmm.
in making this happen. We're at that point. We have 60 days from yesterday, I believe.
Oh my Lord, is that
On
close?
Thursday, the 28th of April, till
Mhm.
June the 28th, to show the establishment that this is a majority of Oklahomans,
Yes, ma'am.
especially in the Democratic race, where I'm the only Democrat running.
Mm-hmm.
The other person in the race against me is flip-flopped.
Flip flop.
To
A
become
Republican
a-
just to run against
uh-huh.
you. Yeah.
And it's egregious because why try to play the people like this
Right.
about something that's serious
Mm-hmm.
about people's lives? It's saving people's lives.
Yeah, it is.
Health-wise, economically,
Mm-hmm.
incarceration-wise.
Mm-hmm.
People aren't getting locked up for it anymore. This is what we're talking about in this one moment on June 28th. I'm asking everybody, the last day to get registered to vote is June the 3rd,
Mm-hmm.
right? Another thing we're asking people, even if you're registered right now, is to just apply to
Right.
vote by mail.
Yes, ma'am. I love that.
Okay.
Vote by mail.
okvotebymail.com. That's a
Mhm.
website. Just go there. It takes less than 3 minutes,
Mhm.
right? When you do that, First of all, you make sure your record is right.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get the ballot 30 days ahead of time.
Right on.
You can use it or not use it, right? People who have drama going to the polls.
Yes. Well, we have a lot of
various
people with
reasons.
anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety, yeah.
Anxiety, don't
yeah.
like to be in crowds and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
A
You know,
lot of
People that
brown
can't
skin.
stand in lines.
Well,
in lines.
well, there's a whole
stand.
different,
See,
but there's a whole different situation for people with disabilities,
Mhm.
right? They have certain rights under
Right.
the ADA. They literally can pull up to the place, and they have to bring the roll and the ballot out to them.
Gotcha.
So this is a part of the education
Mhm.
we'll be sharing
Mm-hmm.
on that day as well about who can vote, because unfortunately a lot of people in this community have felony backgrounds,
right.
Yep.
and you can vote again with a felony
Mm-hmm.
as long as your sentence is over.
As long as you're sentenced.
If you have a deferred sentence, you can still vote.
It's off, yeah.
If you're in jail and you haven't been convicted, you can still vote, right?
Mhm.
People with disabilities have rights when it comes to voting, right?
And that's what we always talk about. I talk about the suffering silence. See, Summer and myself, we look fairly normal.
Right.
You can't tell that we were old opiates. That you can't tell that I've had a stroke, that you've got the implant and stuff like
Mhm.
that. That's we look normal, and we got off all those opiates and everything with cannabis. That's what cannabis. I love it. Okay, on that note right there, we're
Well,
gonna take it.
and don't leave without saying, and it's the policy that made it possible for us to have cannabis.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
It
Yes, ma'am.
all is about, it's always policy.
Always policy.
And who's sitting in the seat?
And we need a
I'm
friendly
Connie
governor, don't
Johnson.
we?
That.
And I'm running for governor in 2022. Vote for me June 28th, and let's go together.
Hashtag Gov
Connie,
Connie 2022.
this.
All right.
Facebook, social media, right?
You got on
Yes.
social media, you bet.
Teach,
On that right there,
Teach.
taking a short break, toke up and tune back in, because you know I'm going to.
Quality be high, but the price is low. Only way I come down on the price is if you buy and both. Tree funds, got a green thumb, I feel like I'm the hoe. Never knew. Niggas mad that I write my shit off top, niggas ain't getting high like this. Yeah, big gas on a night like this.
Welcome back to Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. Hope you're toking up and tuning in, because we're sure having a blast down here today. Going to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, because that's the only way we do the show down here at Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. is by our sponsors. We got Doc Ferguson. Doc Ferguson rocks on. We got Double Down Dabs. I like those Double Down Dabs. Okie applesauce. Buku Okie applesauce. Right on. We've got 788 collection. 788 collection. I'm going to be highlighting a lot of their products. Now, I'm sitting here talking with Senator Connie Johnson, running for governor, my choice for governor, and my good friend Rod Marley. How you doing, brother?
I'm stoned. How are you?
No, I dig it. I dig those cheap sunglasses, man. Those rock on.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Now,
Thanks
you're
for
down
having me.
here, we're sitting here, we've been doing a lot of discussion. We're talking with Connie about running for governor. That's what we want, a good, friendly governor up there that understands the legislations, unlike the governor we got right now that didn't understand State Question 788. Now, brother, we've been together activist-wise for a long time, about 4 years now.
Correct.
I mean, we met each other way back when, and this guy, he's right on. He's been beside me doing stuff. It's been way cool.
Yeah, definitely.
You got Trees Cannabis down here in Oklahoma City.
Yes, sir. Trees Cannabis is located 2958 Southwest 59th. I've been there 2 years now.
Right on.
We just hit our anniversary, April 17th this year.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's a great feeling, man. Y'all come see us.
I dig it. I come by there the other
Yeah,
day.
he was just there the other day.
Now, you're doing a lot of videos and stuff too, a lot of music videos.
Yeah. You know, just to promote the project, we just dropped the album, YHK, Wild West. That was March 25th. Yeah, just about a month ago. So
Cool.
just been promoting that. Yeah, definitely.
Doing a lot of events. You've been going here and there because I've
Yeah,
seen
just
you several places.
Yeah, just working as much as we can. Every chance we get. Yeah, just
I dig it.
putting it out there, staying active.
And that's one thing. A lot of we all see each other at a lot of events, and a lot of times we're just passing. Because we'll be headed to another event. Hi, how you doing? And I'm going. Because I saw you the other day at Castile Farms,
Yes.
and it was real quick.
Right. Yeah.
And you did several sets up there. I was right on, man.
Yeah, it was nice. It was real fun, man. I actually liked it out there. Like the scenery is real.
It was
like
cool.
it's very nice. It's very scenic. Like you would have to see it. Like
I
you'd have
dug
to
the
be there.
castles. Now, ma'am, you didn't come up to that one.
But I've been there before.
Oh, you have?
We were
You've been there
there.
before?
Yes,
Yeah.
and everything
Down
you
there
say.
at the is it Lee Wentz?
Oh
Lee-
man,
yeah, it's
I
Lee
just
Wentz.
GPS'd it.
It's like Lee Wentz. Yeah, that's what's got the Wentz Wentz
it's
campgrounds.
it's a secret location,
Right.
right? I remember that. And Crystal Smotherman set us up with Gene Wood and all of the neat people at Casio Farms. And from that, we ended up going to Gene Autry, Oklahoma, for the Snoop Dogg event.
Okay, so that was not too long ago, huh?
And so I've seen you in so many places, and then I'm continually piecing this together.
Right.
Continually, because, having been in this so long, I meet everybody. And then they finally start to come full circle. And so we have connected more so with Trey Burton and company.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say through that, no.
Where
would
did
say,
we connect
initially?
initially?
Man, it's been so many years.
See,
I feel like you threw me on the spot right now because I'm like we on live and then I'm already stoned, so it's like you're making me really think hard. I'm like, okay.
We may not remember, but we won't forget, right? Because it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I can't pinpoint it right this second.
Where we met.
It'll be when we leave. Watch. It'll be when we
Exactly.
leave.
Oh yeah.
But I'm so glad I'm not the only one that does not realize where I met you. When. You know what I'm saying? It happens
I don't know if
so
it was
much.
when I was working at Simple Cure. I don't know if it was when.
So we were at the treehouse at Simple Cure.
Yeah.
I bet it was just
But I had already knew you then. Like at that time.
Yes.
It was
And
like
you were rare in that space.
it was, man. Well, the thing was, I used to watch when you were advocating and you was pushing for it, even before we got legal. Like it would be on TV late at night, and I remember watching it, and you were debating with somebody about the bill 788 and everything. And I remember telling people like, man, she been pushed, down for the cause. Like, y'all need to vote for her if anything. You know what I mean? So like, when I was signing petitions and just advocating and stuff like that, it was just, I already knew you was for, 788, the medical program and everything. So you had my vote.
Wow.
You feel me? I was supporting you. So I was just trying to spread the message and let other people know that you had our best interests, if anything, like when it came to someone who was going to represent us.
But your testimony, for me, is so fulfilling.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know who was watching.
Right.
I just knew what I was fighting for and what I believed in enough to have the courage, no matter what they said about it. So
I won't forget, it was 2016. I remember it was late at night. It was like a round table y'all was sitting at. It was you and it was this guy. It was like an older guy. He had glasses on. You remember who I'm talking about?
Was it on Flashpoint?
It might have been, but y'all were
Yes.
debating the fact about, the legalization of cannabis here in Oklahoma.
And I had
And
some
it
hemp
got
lotion.
shot down. Yeah, it got shot down. Like,
wow.
even though y'all did all that, it still got
Wow.
shot down that year. And
Right.
it wasn't till like 2 years later when it
In
passed.
788.
And I'm just like,
Wow.
y'all gonna forget she was over here the whole time trying to push for it. You feel me? So, yeah, that was That was my whole thing. And then we just kept meeting in different areas, like, you know, the March at the Capitol, and I would see you at, you know, just different places like, you know, Simple Cure when I worked there, or, you know, I did an event at Symphony, and you had came there. It was right before the pandemic. It was right before the lockdown.
Yes.
Like right before. It was like we did that on a Thursday, and it was like that next week, like the
So
lockdown.
where did you grow up?
I grew up in Muskogee. I'm from Muskogee. I moved here in 2004. So I've been here in the city since 2004. Yeah.
Muskogee is a very special place.
Definitely.
It's full of history
Definitely.
with Native Americans, the tribes.
I was born in Tahlequah. I'm Native. I'm Creek. I'm Muskogee Creek.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so the whole issue of tribal sovereignty, and especially with regard to this industry and the potential for hemp
Mm-hmm.
to be that product that can reverse everybody's economies in Oklahoma, but for it being criminalized by policies.
Well, you know, it's the politics, and that's all. We got to remember the foundation of Reefer Madness and why it happened,
Mhm.
and who the families and companies and corporations that affected.
People
And those
don't know
people
that,
are still.
Tell
well,
them about it.
They gotta, you know, that's people. It's up to people to do their research, right? A lot of people, you know, some people just want to smoke the weed. They don't want to know all that, right? They don't care
This
about
is
all
true.
that.
Right.
You feel
This
me?
is true.
They
Yeah.
just cool with smoking and,
Yeah.
and maybe, you know, taking care of their medicinal ailments, or just, you know, their anxiety or whatever the need may be. But back to Reefer Madness.
But wait, can I get them to just connect that they can do that because of the policies and who they vote for? Can they
It's
just
important.
connect those dots?
It's important.
That's what's important right now.
It's important.
Connect the dots and vote for me.
It's
Okay,
important.
now go ahead.
Y'all heard what she said. I'm pointing at the monitor.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Y'all heard what she said.
You put it to monitor.
I had some good medicine. But no, seriously, like the families who own those companies, right? We mean like the paper companies, the gas and oil industries, and right. So, because all these things that hemp can replace, you got to think if these same people don't already have a hold on that, right? They looking at it like, okay, how do we transition what we doing into that and not lose the grip that we have, right? We know that's what it's about. It's about the money. It's
all-
about
yeah.
the money at the end of the day. They looking at it
Yes.
like, okay, so if y'all make point an example, look at Oklahoma right now. Since day one, they've called it the Wild West. Why? Because 788 allowed the common man and woman to open a business in this industry and not necessarily be rich from it, right? But at least have a seat at the table, right?
Yes.
To at least have a seat at the table, and if done right, you can have generational income.
You said that so well.
You see what I mean?
Yes,
So
exactly.
of course everybody rushed here from other markets. You talking about a $2,500 license when they know they paid $250,000 or
Yeah, in
a
another
million
Or couldn't get one.
or couldn't get one,
Right.
or just couldn't
Right.
succeed in that market, or got pushed out in that market, and they was like, there's hope over there. So what did everybody do? We know we the gumbo pot now.
Yeah.
That's why we the biggest market, right?
Right
Now
on.
everybody want to be in Oklahoma. Now they want to come to Oklahoma,
Yeah.
right? Now, because it's cheap and this and that. Oh, y'all got good
Secret.
food.
It was best
Oh, it's best kept secret.
right?
No, you want the money. We know. You try and get rich,
Which,
right? But
right now we're living in reverse grapes of wrath.
exactly.
You know, the people that moved out of Oklahoma, moved to California, all
You're
these
so
other states,
right.
That's
They're
what happened.
back.
they're
You're
coming
right.
back. Yes, ma'am.
And I
So-
kind of like that because you have a lot of different perspectives coming back to a place that's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good place. Oklahoma is a good place
Oklahoma
to live.
is a great place to live.
Yes,
It's
yes.
just
Always.
we
has been.
we absolutely need a lot of changes, though. I'll be the first to say that.
And that's
And
what they're saying. They're
I'm gonna
saying
vote for you
something's
for
wrong.
governor, and if
let's
once
go
you
from
get
there.
governor, I promise you. Because listen, it's a lot. Like we gotta like I understand like we are Bible Belt, right? But it's too much going on for people to hold on to that Bible Belt thing. Like we can't keep holding on to that. We gotta grow. You feel me? I'm not saying disregard that. I'm not saying let go of your morals and principles, people. I'm just saying, like, can we at least stay open later than 2 a.m. at a club? Can we at least have somewhere else to eat at after 9 p.m. on a weekday? Like, can we make some changes around here? Like, it's a lot of it's a lot of
24
things.
hours.
It's like it's a lot of things. We got a lot going on here. Okay, we got sports, we got everything else. So it's like we kind of gotta diversify. And we gotta
kind of living in the
we
past.
in the Dust Bowl ages. We got to get out the Dust Bowl ages.
Okay. I've
We gotta
never
grow.
heard this before.
Really?
I've never heard this perspective before.
Oh
and
man,
you're absolutely right.
you have to leave
Well,
to
look-
get a different lifestyle because Oklahoma is
But
just.
you know why? That's why we do leave Oklahoma and go places and
That's
hang
cool
out for
and
a
all,
minute.
but I don't want
When
to have
we
to
come
keep
back
leaving.
home,
Because guess what? I can't leave and smoke freely how I do
Yeah,
here.
tell me about it.
Okay then, so
That's why I
so
like
change it so we
Oklahoma.
ain't gotta leave no
Fix
more.
that.
Fix that. Cause when I go out of town, guess what? I can't just comfortably smoke
Yes.
anywhere like I do here.
Mm.
Cause I have a card.
Yeah.
My card is on me right now.
Oh, you bet, you bet.
It has to be for me to medicate. So guess what? We have to make it like anywhere else would be here.
See, look what we've
And then
been
we'll get
doing.
more tourists, and we
Yes.
can have an all-star game here. They don't want to come here because what else you gonna do?
Well, look,
there's
seven-
nothing else.
All right, so we
780
gotta
and
change that.
780 and
And then we can see more money
781.
all around economically.
See, 780 and 781, we got real beer here in Oklahoma, and we got to where you can sell it in like Walmarts and places like that. That was a huge change right there.
That wasn't
And-
780, 781.
That was-
That was something else.
That's 780 and 781,
780
wasn't
was reducing the punishment for possession of any drug
Right,
from
right.
a felony to a
it?
misdemeanor.
Right,
And then the money that was saved was to go to rehabilitation.
right.
Now, the thing where we could do Sunday beer and stuff, that was another state question.
Was it?
But I'm glad you brought that up because, I mean, the point that you made about knowing what I've tried to do all
Mhm.
these years, everything that I tried to do when he was watching and I didn't know it, right? Ultimately, the legislature always voted it down.
They did every time. I
Every
watched.
time, every
Can't nobody
time.
tell me otherwise. I
Right?
seen it with my own eyes.
And then the people passed it
Mhm.
every time.
Yeah.
So 762
Mhm.
was taking the governor out of the parole process for nonviolent crimes.
Right.
780, 781, 788, and 802. The people said we want Medicaid expansion. And when the only thing they didn't do was 776, which put the death penalty in the Constitution.
Right.
But we were successful through education. It's through education that all of these things have been implemented by the people. Because to do a petition drive, you have to educate people about why you're doing it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But 776 was intended, they predicted that it would pass by a 75% majority. But after we spent time in a campaign, I was the chair of the campaign, to say no to state question 776. After we spent time educating people about the realities of the death penalty, that it costs 3 times as much to kill someone as it does to give them life without parole,
Right.
that is economically, geographically, and racially discriminatory, right? People in poor communities are more likely to get it, urban communities
Mhm.
of color, anybody who kills a white person, right? Versus people in rural areas who are more unlikely to get it because the DA can't afford to prosecute it, right? The ineffectiveness of it. No one gets ready to go commit capital crime and say, oh, I might get the death penalty, I better not do this. No one,
Yeah.
who does that? No one does. It's a crime of passion when people kill other people,
Mhm.
right? And it's happened since the beginning of time, right? But we can't get it right. We botch it, and more often than not, we are wrongfully convicting people like Julius Jones,
Right.
Man.
right? You see how all this policy comes
Mhm.
together? And the biggest one for me, as the family of a murdered child, was in killing the perpetrator, you take away the object of forgiveness. It took forgiving Darren Smith, who shot and killed my brother at Langston University in 1981 in front of a crowd of people, who not only did he not get the death penalty, he wasn't convicted.
Really?
That's the brokenness of the criminal justice system. It was black on black crime.
Mm-hmm.
Am
See
I
that?
wrong?
That's crazy.
Right.
See,
So
we're-
so it takes away the object of forgiveness. We educated the people. It only passed with a 68% majority.
Mm-hmm.
So when Oklahomans got information from somewhere other than Fox News that told them the truth about why no death penalty, they changed.
Yeah.
And but for more money, we could have changed more minds. And we can do that again. We need to eliminate the death penalty in Oklahoma.
I agree with that, yeah.
It serves
we
no
do.
purpose. We spend a lot of money doing it.
Yeah.
And many times we execute the wrong people.
That's the thing. If you execute one
One
person
too
that's
many.
wrong, that's just horrendous. Because I know several people been incarcerated and they were innocent.
Innocent. Yeah. And it's the broken criminal legal system from the ground from the floor up to the ceiling in terms of arresting officers, the bail bond system, the attorneys, the prosecutors, the district attorneys, the judges, everything.
It's
is
all
a
to
part
get
of
you
a
in the system, and once they get you in the system,
Uh-huh.
they're churning money
Uh-huh.
from you.
And how many people do you talk to with felony backgrounds
Mm-hmm.
who've just been thrown into that system in order to fund an economic system that is private prison based?
Yes, ma'am.
We are private prison based industrial complex, and
Yeah.
marijuana was
How
a
do we-
part of the formula to make sure we fill those private prison
Okay,
beds.
so let me ask you this. You know how we have OMMA? Like, who does the private prison complex people have that regulate them?
Exactly,
Like, is there
it's a
an
private entity.
is it an answer to that?
They are a
Having
private
Connie Johnson
business.
for
Oh,
governor's
so they don't
answer
want
for
nobody
that.
knowing.
They don't have to. It's a private business.
Why don't they have to?
It's like this
How is that
business,
kind of?
but this is a business. Businesses have certain autonomy. We give them the right to do business by licensing them. You know, we've got zoning codes that say you can't have this business.
So you know how
here.
they create laws that, like, you know how, like, when you got something good going on and they create a legislation to throw to rain on your
Monkey
parade.
wrench, yeah.
Okay, how do you do that for private business? Like, is there a way to, let's say, be like, hey, we don't think it's right that there are X amount of private prison businesses in this state, right?
Okay. I
Okay.
get your question.
So, okay,
yeah. I got the answer.
they're complaining about how many dispensaries there are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how about we complain about how many private prisons there are?
I think
Okay,
there should be
there's-
0,
no, of course,
which
right?
is in the contracts.
But how do you do that?
The governor does
The
it
governor does
So how
that.
come the governor?
because
not
I'm
done.
not the governor
It's too much.
yet.
Okay, we're gonna have to take
As
a break on
governor.
that right there, because she's not the
As-
governor.
As governor,
As
we
governor.
will end contracts with private prisons in
Man, y'all better go
Oklahoma.
vote.
Right
We
on.
gotta go take the break.
That's what it keeps coming back to. Who you vote for matters. Your vote matters. If you don't vote, it matters.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's why we have what we have.
I agree with you 100%. All
Okay.
right.
I love it.
Senator Connie Johnson for governor right here. You're sitting there watching Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I hope you toke up and tune back in. Off like a herd of turtles. Ping! Oh.